So, I finally watched Inception and have to say, it was really good. I really liked it. But before I go any further and talk more about the movie, I know some of you may be wondering why I watched Inception now even though it came out like more than a decade ago. And if you're one of those people, well then, just leave me alone, okay? I just got here and I want to have my moment.
If you don't like it, well, so what? None of you ever made a video.
Anyway, back to the movie. So Inception is a movie by Christopher Nolan that came out in 2010, and I have to say, for a movie that came out in 2010, Inception is just so good. I've already watched it 3 times now, and honestly the second viewing was even better. I got to appreciate so much more about the movie, like the sound, it is so amazing. And the music was produced by Hans Zimmer, so like what do you expect? Of course the music will be amazing. And the visuals were also so great. So if you clicked on this video, I'm guessing you've already watched the movie, but if you haven't, the plot of the movie is that there's this guy named Cobb. And Cobb is an extractor. He steals information deep within the subconscious during the dream state. And since Cobb is an amazing thief, he's wanted by the police and every major corporation who also think he killed his wife. But one day Cobb is offered one last job that could give him his life back so that he can see his children again. But this job is the incredibly impossible Inception. So if you don't know what Inception is simply the opposite of extraction. While extraction is stealing information from someone's mind deep within the subconscious, during the dream state, Inception is planting an idea in someone's mind. And you may be wondering, why is Inception extremely harder than extraction? Because if you can steal information from someone's mind, you can definitely plant information, right? Well, let me tell you by giving you guys an amazing example that was given in the movie. If I tell you, don't think about elephants, and I ask you what I think about, you'll probably say elephants. But just because you're thinking about elephants does not mean it's your idea. It's not, because I told you to do it. So if you plant an idea in someone's mind during their subconscious while they're sleeping, their mind will always be able to trace the genesis of the idea. So when Cobb is offered the job for Inception, even though he knows how hard Inception is, he still accepts because he wants to go back to his children. And since he knows how hard Inception is, his plan is to plant the idea very deep in the mind of the subject. He plans to plant the idea 3 levels deep. That means a dream inside a dream inside a dream. And also in the dream world, time moves slower than in the real world. For example, 5 minutes in the real world is 1 hour in the dream world. And as you go in another dream while you're inside a dream, time increases. Now, as I was watching this movie, I didn't want it to get more complicated. And I'm glad it didn't. Because maybe the first time you watch it, the movie can be a bit complicated. But the second time you watch the movie, things make more sense, or they don't, depending on who you are. But another thing I'd like to say is that I think all the actors did an amazing job. And I also surprisingly didn't know that Ellen Page was in this movie, but I honestly really loved her. She did such an amazing job. And also I'd like to say one of my favorite lines from the movie, and it says, "True inspiration is impossible to fake." And why I love that line is because it's so true. You can never fake inspiration, it just comes to you. And that is one of the sad realities of life, because I think many people love to be inspired and think of amazing ideas, but not everyone can be inspired at any time. It just comes to you. In my opinion, Inception is really a great movie. It's one of those movies that I wish I could have seen in theaters. And if you haven't watched it, I really recommend it. Inception is one of those movies that when you start watching it, it keeps you invested until the end. And now I'd like to talk about Mao. If you don't remember her, she was Cobb's wife, and she killed herself. And now Cobb is only left with his projection of her. I honestly really like that they added her to the story, and I like that in the end, Cobb accepted that she wasn't his real wife. She was just a projection of her. And now I'd like to talk about the end of the movie. So if you've forgotten how Inception ends, I'll remind you. The movie ends when they successfully plant the idea in this guy's mind and they win. And Cobb goes back to his children. And then he spins his totem. And oh, if you've forgotten what a totem is, a totem is simply a small object that has to be unique to you. And when you look at it, it helps you know whether you're in someone's dream or not. So anyway, back to the end of the movie. So yeah, the whole team completes the mission and Cobb goes back to his children. And he spins his totem to know whether he is in a dream or not. And then he goes to hug his children, but his totem is still spinning. And then it shows signs of falling, but then we see black and the movie ends. So the basic idea behind Cobb's totem is that if it stops spinning, then he is not in someone's dream. But if it continues, then he is in someone's dream. But since at the end of the movie, his totem is still spinning, and it shows signs of falling, and then the movie ends, I guess we will never know if he is still dreaming or not. And I like that the movie did that. I like movies that in the end give the audience the power to choose of how they want it to end. So I was really pleased to see how the movie ended. So anyway, I really did like Inception. It's really a good movie, and if you haven't watched it, I think you should. And if you've watched it, you can say what you thought about it in the comments. And if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. And also you can check out more of my content. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Peace. Anyway, I'm going to sleep now. I'm so tired.